So this is the big question. Can they win a national championship this year?
The short answer is yes. It is possible. Like, that's not outside the realm of possibility. And like, I am a homer. Obviously, I'm a Michigan fan. I write and podcast for Michigan, but I'm generally like pretty realistic about these sort of things. I thought in 2016 we could. I thought in 2018 we could. I think Andy and I were both really high in the 2018 team and we're wrong about it. But like, I was not as high in the 2021 team. I didn't think we could beat Ohio State. So like, these things are shifting, and like a lot of it is unknown because of the new coaching staff, the new quarterback, but there is a known, and that known commodity is a defense that could maybe be the best to ever play at Michigan. That's not hyperbole. There is a very real chance this is the best defense that's ever set foot at Michigan. And I'm like, I say that as a historian of the game. Like, I care about these sort of things. And the 97 defense, I go back and watch those 97 games. This defense is going to be elite. It's going to be elite. You have a responsibility to this program and to this fan base to put out a decent quarterback out there. We don't know what that quarterback is. So like, if you want the side that says we can win it, it's this defense. If you want my biggest concern, it's we still have no idea what to expect at quarterback. But there's also, as we mentioned, just high level pieces at running back, tight end. I think the offensive line, Andy and I are at like, I don't know, what would you say, a 7.5% and 8% or 8 out of 10 confidence, 8 out of 10 confidence. We've really tucked ourselves into the offensive line. There's proof of concept with the coaching staff. Yeah, they could win it. I would say you're the favorites. Georgia's probably favored ahead of us. Texas brings back Quinn Ewers. But then beyond that, like, I would put Michigan right there. Like, I think they should probably be in the top 4 with that defense. That's where I'm at. I think they'll be in the top 4 at the end of the year. I think Michigan, Ohio State's going to be an absolute battle.
So if it were the old way of thinking with like the 4-team playoff, I'd be much more dubious. But the fact that 12 team gets in now, and the fact that a Big Ten or an SEC team could have 3 losses and get in, that makes you just super dangerous for a team getting hot at the right time. And the schedule this year is very interesting because Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon all play each other. Yeah. So it's like, it could be like a round robin tournament in a way where every team can have 1 loss and you see what happens there. But no, I'm with Jared. It's all quarterback dependent, but this team could be 9-3 with even below average quarterback play, to be honest. Like, so do that, you can still sneak into the playoff. But if you're getting average or above that, then you can mix it up in those games and the chips will fall as they may. And with the 12-team playoff, you get hot at the end of the year after you work out some personnel issues, get some other guys some reps, then you're going to be dangerous at the right time.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other piece of this, the way that the schedules are, I totally agree with you. I think 9-3, especially with Texas on the schedule.
Yeah, like this is not last year's schedule for Michigan.
No. Yeah. So you've got that premier matchup. So that gives you a little bit of an out with the schedule. But then also there's a real chance that even at 9-3, you could still sneak into the Big Ten championship game because of the way schedules are. You know, we were joking on the College Huddle network. Chips could fall right where you get a Rutgers Iowa Big Ten championship game because their schedules are just awful. But in all seriousness, Michigan could lose 2. Oregon's got a tough schedule. Ohio State, they have to play Michigan, Penn State, Oregon. I think Ohio State has an easier schedule and they still have those 3 games.
Yeah.
And then I think everybody else in the Big Ten has a more of a gauntlet outside of Iowa and Rutgers. And you could see the pathway for Michigan to get in. Oregon trips up against a lower level team away. We joked about Ross Aid, having to go to Purdue, but Purdue, as bad as they can be sometimes, I hate playing at Ross Aid at night.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And
no, I get you.
And so I'm not saying that will definitely happen, but there's a lot of opportunities, I think, for Michigan to kind of lay in the weeds a little bit. And even losing those 3 games, you get in the playoff and you get hot. And again, to your point, Andy, if you run the ball and you play good defense, like that travels. And especially at the end of the year, when you might be playing cold weather playoff games. You're playing against teams that have played 14, 15 straight weeks in a row that are tired. The last thing you want is Edwards, Mullings, and I forget the third guy you mentioned Jordan Marshall, only a really, really great freshman running back, just pounding on you, and a defense that has the 2 best defensive tackles in college football. Yeah, I don't want that. Just saying that right now. I don't want to face that in the playoff.
It's a fascinating thing too, because I feel like a lot of pundits are really just penciling in Oregon and not factoring in their travel schedule throughout the year. Yeah. I know Ohio State has to go there, but Oregon has to come across the country several times. And like a school like Washington, I think 4 of their 5 road games are 1,700 miles or greater away. Yeah. Just like the back and forth of everything they're doing in the scheduling, I think is going to take its toll. Plus, I don't think these Pac-12 teams are just ready for the physicality of the Big Ten. Like we saw that in the national championship.
Yeah, I agree. One of the teams, I just want to get this in there so that I was proven to be right. I think Notre Dame, pencil them in. I'm looking at these schedules, and like Andy said, like the round robin of all these teams that have to play each other, like brutal schedules. Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Washington's tough. Like all these people that have now been added to the Big Ten. I think a team like Notre Dame is going to find themselves in, and like almost you could guarantee them in. Like Georgia seems like a team you can guarantee to get in. And if Michigan beats Texas early on week 2, if like Texas still hasn't figured it out, like something like that could reverberate throughout the rest of the season too. Like Michigan could then drop Ohio State, they could drop Washington or something and still get in. So like it's so much more fascinating. I think that I probably liked the way that it was before, because I'm old, and the old guard is always going to not want to relinquish the old guard. But it'll be interesting. With this reshaped division, and like which games are important and which games can you drop, and who actually ends up getting in.
I really, with this format and with the way schedules are, I am leaning more and more to, I think whoever wins the Big Ten has 2 losses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because I think you could get in with 3. There might be a 4-loss team that gets into the 12 team at some point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially with the way schedules are.
Yeah. With the Big Ten, like, if you're, exactly.